The true north, costly north. A look at affordability in Canada. Canada, known for its stunning landscapes and welcoming spirit, is facing a growing crisis: the rising cost of living. In 2024, Canadians are facing an unprecedented crisis. The cost of living has surged, with basic necessities seeing an 8.6% increase in just 1 year. From coast to coast, Canadians are grappling with escalating expenses. The cost of basic necessities like housing, food, and transportation has been steadily increasing. As the cost of living rises, it threatens to erode the quality of life for many Canadians. Understanding these price increases is crucial for policymakers and citizens alike. For individuals, it means making difficult choices between essential needs. Is this rise in the cost of living driving more Canadians into poverty? Today, we'll explore how this financial pressure is reshaping the lives of millions.
Housing, a fundamental human need, has become increasingly out of reach for many Canadians. Major urban centres like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal have witnessed astronomical price increases in recent years, pushing home ownership out of reach for many. The average home price in Canada has soared, with limited affordable options available. This trend is not limited to major cities. Smaller towns and rural communities are also experiencing rising housing costs due to factors like limited supply and increased demand from urban dwellers seeking affordability. The lack of affordable housing has severe consequences, leading to increased homelessness, overcrowding, and financial strain. The dream of owning a home, once a cornerstone of the Canadian identity, is fading for many, particularly young people and newcomers. The struggle to find affordable rental accommodation is equally daunting, with waiting lists for subsidised housing growing longer and competition for private rentals intensifying. This crisis extends beyond individual hardships. It has broader societal implications, impacting workforce mobility, economic productivity, and overall well-being. Addressing the housing crisis requires a multi-pronged approach involving increased investment in affordable housing, innovative housing solutions, and policies that promote affordability and prevent speculation.
Empty plates and full grocery carts, the soaring cost of food. Canadians are experiencing sticker shock in grocery store aisles as food prices relentlessly rise. The cost of essentials like fresh produce and meat continues to climb, placing increased strain on households. Canada now finds itself at a critical juncture, with a decade of progress in poverty reduction quickly unraveling. Despite significant increases in financial hardship, rising poverty rates, and worsening food insecurity, most governments are failing to respond with the urgency required. Foodbanks Canada's 2024 Poverty Report Cards, which were first introduced in 2023, to provide a comprehensive assessment of poverty across the country and track government performance over time, reveal that nearly half of Canadians, 44%, feel worse off financially than they did last year. A staggering 1 in 4 people are facing food insecurity, the highest rate ever recorded. Furthermore, all provinces and territories, with the exception of Prince Edward Island, are falling short in the affordable housing category. As a result of these alarming findings, Foodbanks Canada has downgraded the federal government's grade from a D in 2023 to a D- in 2024, signaling that the country is on the brink of a poverty crisis. Foodbanks Canada's May 2024 report highlights concerning trends in Canada's economic and social well-being. In 2024, 44.4% of people felt financially worse off compared to the previous year, up from 42.6% in 2023. The share of individuals spending more than 30% of their income on housing surged from 36.4% to 43.6%, while 21% reported difficulties accessing healthcare, an increase from 18.9% the previous year. Additionally, the proportion of government support recipients who found benefits inadequate to keep pace with the rising cost of living rose from 45.9% in 2023 to 50.8% in 2024. At the same time, the share of income spent on fixed costs outside of housing remained relatively stable, increasing slightly from 56.3% to 56.8%. The 2024 Foodbanks Canada report reveals that nearly all Canadian governments received grades in the D range for their inadequate efforts in reducing poverty, with no province or territory earning higher than a C overall. 7 out of 10 provinces were graded D for their insufficient response, highlighting that none are meeting acceptable standards in addressing poverty. Only Nova Scotia, improving from an F in 2023 to a D- in 2024, and Prince Edward Island, up from D+ to C-, saw better grades thanks to stronger legislative efforts on poverty reduction over the past year. Quebec, while performing better than most with a C+, saw its rating slip from B- in 2023, as previous policies have failed to keep pace with rising living costs. In the north, escalating housing and living expenses are worsening hardships, underscoring the urgent need for coordinated government. Several factors contribute to this trend, including global supply chain disruptions, extreme weather events impacting agricultural production, and rising input costs for farmers. The rising cost of fuel also plays a role, affecting transportation and production costs throughout the food supply chain. The impact of rising food prices is particularly pronounced for low-income families, seniors living on fixed incomes, and individuals experiencing food insecurity. They are often forced to make difficult choices between buying food and paying for other essential needs like rent, utilities, and healthcare. This situation highlights the need for policies that address food security and affordability. This includes supporting local food systems, investing in sustainable agriculture practices, and providing financial assistance to vulnerable households struggling to put food on the table.
The price of mobility. Fueling inequality on the roads. Transportation costs, particularly the price of fuel, have skyrocketed, adding financial burden on Canadians. The cost of gasoline and diesel remains high, impacting commuters, businesses, and the economy. Public transportation has also seen fare increases in some cities. Rising fuel costs significantly impact individuals and families relying on personal vehicles. It can lead to reduced disposable income and limited job opportunities, and social isolation for those in remote areas.
Statistics paint a sobering picture. Let's dive into the numbers to understand the extent of the issue. Poverty rates across various provinces reveal the stark reality faced by many Canadians. In provinces like British Columbia and Ontario, the poverty rates have been alarmingly high, affecting both urban and rural populations. Data shows that nearly 1 in 7 Canadians live below the poverty line, with significant disparities among different demographic groups. The statistics highlight the urgency of addressing these economic challenges. It's not just about numbers, it's about the lives and futures of millions of Canadians. Comprehensive policy measures are needed to tackle this growing crisis.
Stories of Canadians facing hardship. While statistics provide a broad overview, personal stories bring the issue to life. A community worker in Toronto shared, "I witness the impact of rising costs on low-income families every day. Many are struggling to make ends meet, choosing between essentials like food and rent. It's heartbreaking to witness the stress and anxiety this causes." These stories are a stark reminder that behind every statistic, there's a person facing real challenges. Addressing the rising cost of living requires empathy, understanding, and decisive action to support those in need.
The rising cost of living in Canada is pushing more people into poverty than ever before. Whether it's housing, food, or transportation, the pressures are mounting. As more Canadians fall behind, it's clear that this isn't just a personal issue, it's a national crisis. To address this growing crisis, both individuals and policymakers must consider solutions ranging from affordable housing initiatives to wage adjustments in line with inflation. Canada's future depends on how it responds to this escalating cost of living challenge. Have the rising costs of living in Canada impacted you or someone you know? Share your experiences in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up so more people can learn about this important issue. Don't forget to subscribe for more content, and if you missed our last video, Why Canadians Are Fed Up and It's Not the Weather, be sure to click the card on your screen or the link in the description to watch it next.